And for more on this story, I'm joined by Mark Lustow, an affiliated fellow at the Institute for Advanced Study at Central European University. Thanks so much for being with us here on France 24. Marco Rubio said that U.S. ties with Hungary were entering a golden era, but appeared to make that conditional on the continuation of Orban's leadership. So we're not really talking so much about the interests of two nations as much as we're talking about the interests here of two men, namely Donald Trump and Viktor Orban. Is that how you see this?
What was really remarkable about the meeting today between Marco Rubio and Viktor Orban was all that didn't happen. There was no movement at all on two of the major issues that Orban has been wanting to use to boost his chances of re-election in April, namely a potential Trump visit to Budapest, and then also an extension of the exemption on Russian oil and gas sanctions. Neither of those issues were addressed, even though Orban has been pushing publicly to get the Trump administration to say that the exemptions on sanctions will be permanent. Marco Rubio was asked point blank whether those sanctions will be permanent, and he dodged the question, completely dodged the question. So really, to my mind, the meeting today between Rubio and Orban did not produce the kind of movement that Orban really would have liked to have had before the April elections.
Why do you think that is? Any idea?
Well, frankly, Donald Trump is not very good at following up on his promises. It may be that the two men have a close personal relationship, but Donald Trump himself is not really showing it. For all of the praise and the flattery that Orban has lavished on Donald Trump over the years, it doesn't seem to go both ways, at least in terms of concrete actions that the Trump administration can take to help Orban boost his chances of re-election in April. And it is indeed the truth that Orban, at least according to all the independent polls, is running behind the opposition candidate Péter Magyar.
So in Munich, Marco Rubio spoke about how the U.S. and Europe are, having this intertwined destiny. How does that rhetoric square with his visit today with Orban, who really is at odds with the rest of the EU and NATO?
Well, it doesn't really square very well. I mean, the Trump administration has been trying, for instance, to broker peace in Ukraine ever since Donald Trump got back into office in January, and he's failed. Meanwhile, he's also tried to weaken the NATO alliance from within by sowing dissent within the ranks, the Greenland issue, as well as any number of other tensions between NATO allies that he's tried to stoke and deepen. And at the same time, so it's not at all clear that Donald Trump actually wants to honor the historical ties of the alliance, of the NATO alliance that has really benefited both Europe and North America and the United States ever since the end of World War II.
You mentioned the elections in April. What happens if Orban loses? What happens to this, so-called special relationship the Trump administration has spent so much time cultivating?
Well, it's really unclear. What Péter Magyar has done and what has really worked for him so far is that he's portrayed himself as Viktor Orban without any of the baggage, without any of the negative consequences that Orban has wrought in his 16 years in power. And by that, I mean the corruption and also the puppet state, the Russian puppet state that he's created in terms of foreign policy here in Hungary. So Magyar has basically been trying to say, listen, I will do everything that you expected Viktor Orban to do, just without any of the bad consequences, any of the stuff that you didn't want. And that's the message that he sent to the Hungarian electorate. And it's also the message that he sent to Europe and the rest of the world. He basically has tried to portray himself as a center-right, relatively culturally and politically conservative candidate. He is pro-EU, but it's a pro-EU stance that is realistic about the kinds of benefits benefits that the EU can bring to Hungary. It's EU positivity, but EU skepticism all at the same time in the same package.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there, unfortunately. Mark Lousteau, an affiliated fellow at the Institute for Advanced Study at Central European University. Thanks so much for your time and for your insight joining us here on France 24.
Thank you.